Hello and welcome to LFC Focus. It is post-match reaction show time after Liverpool have just beaten Jose Mourinho's awful, terrible, painful to watch Manchester United by 3 goals to 1 of their goals at Anfield, thanks to a double from Xherdan Shaqiri late on to catapult us back to the top of the Premier League table. How fantastic was that? It felt like it was just going to be another one of those games against Mourinho's United. It felt like they got lucky at one end and they were going to ride their luck all the way to one solitary, pathetic point at the other end with their defence as well. But no, this time Liverpool have finally found a way to break them down. Xherdan Shaqiri is the difference between all those Liverpool United games of the past 2 seasons and the one that happened here tonight. He was fantastic when he came on. He completely changed the game. He was the thing that Liverpool have been crying out for in so many games against Manchester United, when they've stifled our front three, when they've stifled our midfield, when it felt like there was nothing we could possibly do. There was no one to call off the bench. All the attackers were already running out of steam. In the past, that would have been it. That would have been 1 point and it would have been Liverpool back to second place in the Premier League. But this time, we've got Xherdan Shaqiri. We've got the Swiss Messi. We've got the power cube himself, and he came on and he won those 3 points for Liverpool. And he just, like I said, he changed the game. He just added that one thing that was missing. I think everything about what we were trying to do but wasn't quite coming off over the first 70 minutes wasn't coming off because we just needed that little Xherdan Shaqiri on the pitch to make everything happen. You know, that first goal he scores is incredibly similar to a situation that arose in the first half where I think De Gea makes a save, he palms it out and Naby Keita gets to it, he gets on the end of it, but by the time he reaches it, Man United have repositioned, they can get a block in, they can get the ball away and nothing comes of it. It's the exact same situation in the second half, only this time it's Xherdan Shaqiri and he's got just that extra couple of yards on every other player on the pitch. He's a little more alert to the situation and he's got the thunderbolt shot on him for it to cannon off of that crossbar, for him to beat David De Gea, the man who previously seemed immortal, invincible against Liverpool. It felt like there was no possible way we could ever get the ball past him, barring own goals and penalties. He seemed impossible to score against, and Liverpool came out today and just showed how it was done. That Mane goal as well, by the way, was fantastic. Fabinho, who had an incredible game the whole way through, I think he's settled in at Liverpool. I think there's no argument about it anymore. He has fully adjusted to the speed of life in the Premier League and he is absolutely loving it. And that assist for the Sadio Mane goal was just an example of what Fabinho was supposed to bring to Liverpool, what we've been missing in the past from our midfielders, someone who, and let's not forget everything else he does in the game, but that single moment is something that, you know, I love Jordan Henderson, I think he's great, but he just can't do, and I'm not sure Gini Wijnaldum can do either. None of our other defensive midfielders can play that kind of pass, can pick out that kind of run, can just make that space for an attacker, and then it's a glorious, glorious take from Sadio Mane. We were all worrying all the way through the game against Napoli that he'd lost his shooting boots, and everyone was just saying to themselves, don't worry, he's saving them for Sunday. And boy, we were right. It's a fantastic goal from Mane. The take on his chest, you know, De Gea bearing down on him, and yeah, maybe you could say it's straight at De Gea, and maybe shots that are straight at you aren't as difficult to save as everyone was making out after that Alisson save, but it's a great finish for him to just smash it on his weaker foot as well. Although, to be honest, given how good he's been on his left foot this season, I'm potentially convinced that actually Sadio Mane is left-footed and he doesn't even know it, but it's a great finish. It's a great pass. I thought Sadio Mane all the way through the game was actually really, really good for Liverpool, despite the fact he's rarely played on that right-hand side since the arrival of Mohamed Salah. I thought he's actually pretty useful in that area just because of the drive he possesses to actually try and get to the byline and whip balls in on that right foot is something that Liverpool don't really have from any other player, and part of it is because we play the inverted wingers. But part of it is just because it's so difficult to do something like that against this Man United defence. And I think it really helped playing Mane along that side, simply because without Trent and without Gomez and without Milner, Nathaniel Clyne, who, to be honest, had a pretty steady game. You know, he wasn't amazing. He wasn't terrible. He was just Nathaniel Clyne. And, you know, maybe that's why he's never really going to be an amazing player for Liverpool, because he doesn't really offer anything more than being solid at right back. But I think by playing Mane down that side as well, it meant we still had someone who was getting to the byline and whipping balls in with their right foot. That was the worry with Nathaniel Clyne, and if we played Salah down that side, there would just be this open space that Man United could leave open and not have to worry about. But with Sadio Mane bombing on. It offered an outlet that I don't think United were expecting, and it really, really showed because we absolutely tore their defence apart for the first half hour. It's why that goal they scored felt so frustrating, because they did not deserve it. Liverpool deserved to be something like 3 goals up within the first half hour, and that was another thing that was so refreshing. I think there were so many things about this game that were just great to see because we haven't seen enough of it against Man United over the last couple of seasons. You know, that first half an hour is the kind of football we've known Liverpool can play for a couple of years now, but they've never shown it against United, and they finally brought it out. They finally brought out that gegenpressing, quick playing style, that constant press to win the ball back, that counter-attacking speed, that frenetic energy that defenders just don't know how to deal with because they can't predict it. They barely even understand what's going on. And like I said, it's something Liverpool haven't done enough against United in the past. In the past, we felt too predictable. We've been passing side to side. We've been doing essentially what we did for the middle half an hour from when United score all the way up until when Shaqiri gets the second. We were just turgid. But today, in the first half an hour, we were all over Manchester United, and they just didn't know how to deal with us at all. I think it almost felt like Mourinho had sent half the team out saying play 4 at the back and the other half out saying play 5 at the back, because they didn't seem to understand what formation they were even playing, and Liverpool just tore them to shreds. And like I said, it should have been 3, and we came close to being punished for that, especially with that horrible spawny goal that they score. And yeah, it's an Alisson mistake, but they happen. Goalies will make mistakes. Even the best goalies in the world will make mistakes. And it's testament to just how good Alisson is that it didn't seem to affect him for the rest of the game. You know, in the past, we've seen Mignolet and Karius and countless Liverpool players over the last few decades, goalkeepers specifically, fall apart after making errors like that. But Alisson is absolutely fine. It was similar to the one against Leicester and the sort of games that followed after Leicester, where you almost forgot that he'd even made a mistake because he didn't seem affected by it whatsoever. And that was so important for us, because there were times, especially at 1-1 and even at 2-1, where United were knocking on the door, where they looked like they could have got a smash and grab goal, especially after Fellaini came on, and Alisson just looked unfazed by the whole situation. He dealt with everything absolutely brilliantly. So that was fantastic as well. Even though he does make the mistake, he recovers from it brilliantly. And then, of course, Xherdan Shaqiri is the difference maker for Liverpool. And then from there on in, we just mucked around with Manchester United. We just toyed with them. It felt almost disappointing when the final whistle went, because you wanted more goals. Liverpool looked like they could get more goals. The players just looked so confident, and Manchester United looked spent. And that is why having players like Shaqiri available off the bench is so useful, because when the opposition start to tire, you can suddenly bring on a player who's good enough to play from the beginning, who's as good as the players that are already on the pitch, but he's got a little bit more energy. And that just showed with Shaqiri. And like I said, everything that he brought to the pitch was something we were missing. Even things like long shots, which is something we've been trying all the way through the game, and it was getting annoying after a while, because Fabinho was trying them, Klein was trying them, Lovren, Van Dijk, Wijnaldum, everyone was having a pop from range, and it just wasn't working. You're thinking, who have we got in the team who's good for shooting from range? Xherdan Shaqiri. And he comes on, and that third goal just comes from him taking a shot from range. And yeah, there's luck in it, but Liverpool deserved luck in that game from the amount that Manchester United had just in getting their first goal in the first place. They didn't even deserve a goal from that game. The way Liverpool played, the way Manchester United played, we deserved to batter them. And to be honest, given how they set up and what it's like when we play against Mourinho's side, 3-1 is as close as we will probably ever get to tearing this Manchester United side apart. And boy, did it feel good. I mean, we had, at the end, they showed, I think it was 36 shots to 6 of Manchester United. That's like when we beat Everton 4-0 and we had 41 shots to their 3. There is such a huge disparity in quality between these two sides, and the most important thing today was that Liverpool hammered the point home. Liverpool made it clear that they were the better side. Liverpool showed that they are the team that is challenging for the title, and Manchester United are the team in the doldrums. At times it felt like we weren't going to do it. At times it felt like they were going to get away with it, but Xherdan Shaqiri came on. To be honest, I'm going to have to give him man of the match. There are other Liverpool players that I could give it to, possibly Fabinho, because that assist was amazing, and all the way through his energy in midfield. All the midfielders, by the way, I thought were ace. Gini Wijnaldum and Fabinho, the energy they showed, especially in that first half an hour, to win the ball back, to press Man United, to close them down, and to get it to those attackers as quickly as possible, was absolutely fantastic. Naby Keita as well, I thought had a good game, even though I'm still not entirely sure where we play him in this 4-2-3-1. I thought in that left mid role, he's fine. He's a fantastic footballer, but it still isn't quite working. So he's great in the 4-3-3, and I'm sure we'll see him play that kind of role for many games between now and the end of his Liverpool career, which hopefully will not be for many, many years yet. But I just don't think we've quite worked out where to play him in the 4-2-3-1 yet. But at the end of the day, he still had a good game. Like the other midfielders, he showed energy, he showed tenacity, he won the ball back, he got it forward quickly. He was trying ambitious things, and that's another thing we haven't done enough against United in the past. You know, trying those chipped balls over the top, like the one that Fabinho makes for the Mane goal, trying to find the runners, even though there's like 3 Manchester United players all trying to block the passing lane, because sometimes it doesn't work. But this Man U team isn't that good, and if you just keep banging on the door, you will eventually get through, and that's what Liverpool managed to do today through Xherdan Shaqiri. And yeah, Fabinho was great, Wijnaldum was great, Dejan Lovren was pretty good as well, by the way, being drafted in, didn't really put a foot wrong all the way through the game, apart from a couple of moments where you might have wanted him to block a cross or something like that. Apart from stuff like that, I thought he was really, really solid. Fingers crossed both him and Van Dijk can stay fit throughout this festive period, because they are a very, very solid centre-back pairing. Like I said, Klein, fine. Andrew Robertson, very, very involved. Delivery not always there, but he exploited the space fantastically, and it's thanks to him that he kept Man U on the back foot, because their defenders were always backpedaling to deal with the extra man that was provided by Andrew Robertson. Fabinho, like I said, absolutely fantastic. Would be the man of the match if Xherdan Shaqiri hadn't scored 2 goals to beat Manchester United and send Liverpool top of the league. How can you deny a man of the match award after that? Wijnaldum, ace. Keita, solid. Firmino never stopped running, even though it's still not quite happening for him in that number 10 position. I thought this was one of his better games in that role. You know, his energy to win the ball back, his tenacity and his ability to just get it forward as quickly as possible. Sometimes it doesn't work for him in that number 10 role, but today it seemed to be falling right. And yeah, it's still not as good as when he plays number 9, but it accommodates the rest of the 4-2-3-1 formation quite well. So I thought he had a solid game. Salah, not amazing, but always an outlet, and probably could have come away with a goal if it wasn't for the fact that, you know, the referee ended the game a little bit early in my eyes. I wish there'd been 10 minutes of stoppage time so we could have beaten them 4-1 or 5-1 or something ridiculous like that. Other players, Mane, like I said, very, very good. Offered an outlet, was always a pain for those Man United defenders, and took his goal absolutely brilliantly. Henderson was fine when he came on as well. But of course, Xherdan Shaqiri is the man of the match. He's got the 2 goals that send Liverpool top once again. This Liverpool team just feels unstoppable at the moment. It feels like no matter what you do, whether you get jammy goals, whether you get well-worked goals, whether you shut us out for 70 minutes, you just can't stop Liverpool, because they will always find a way to beat you. And today, the way to beat Manchester United was the power cube. Xherdan Shaqiri, my man of the match. So that is all for today's video. Thank you guys very, very much for watching. I'm sure you enjoyed the game. If you enjoyed the video as well, hit that like button down there, hit that subscribe button there if you're new around here. Check out some of the other videos that have been out on the channel over the past few days as well, and we'll be back soon for the pre-match content for the game against Wolves. Until then, have a good evening. Bye for now.